A good week for Corey Connors, finishing T9. As for Nick Taylor, T30. For Connors, now his fourth top 10 in his last 7 worldwide starts. As for Taylor, it's his best worldwide finish in nearly 2 months. Okay, Bob, another good finish for Connors. Now, how do you like the way his game is trending with the playoffs just around the corner?
Yeah, I think that for Corey Connors, a tie for ninth is a really good performance. It's certainly not exactly what he had in mind. I'm sure he would have liked to have left Paris with a medal, but I do think a couple things that stand out about me. One is how he embodied the Olympic spirit. He was talking about hanging out with the other athletes on that opening ceremonies boat, meeting Felix Auger-Aliassime and going to some of the other events, taking in some tourist sites in Paris. And that's what these athletes should do. Yes, they're there to perform and they're there to compete, but I think you have to drink this whole Olympic atmosphere in, and I think that's what Corey did. As far as his game's concerned, I really like what he's been doing with his putting lately, and it's not a huge improvement, but it is a significant improvement. He is putting much better than I have seen him putt in a long time. He's very much more consistent as a golfer. We see that in the number of tournaments he's gone without missing a cut, and I really do think he's going to have a strong finishing kick. That putting, by the way, is very, very, very strong, I think, in attracting Mike Weir. Not that Corey, I think, would be left off this team, but if Mike can count on Corey to sink some putts, something he didn't do very well in the last President's Cup, I think that would be a huge boost for Mike Weir's side as they get ready to take on Royal Montreal. I think Corey is going to have a really strong finishing kick here as we get through the FedEx Cup Playoffs and the President's Cup.
Yeah, and I certainly think Connors learned a lot from that experience at the President's Cup a couple of years ago. Okay, Mark, how about Nick Taylor? A T30, and it's been a strange year, to put it lightly, for Nick Taylor. How do you think he feels about his game leaving Paris?
I don't really know, Adam. It's hard to put like a letter on this. It's hard to grade him. If you're asking me, what do you think he's grading himself? What are we grading Nick? He had a couple of decent moments on the weekend, showed some signs of improvement, not bad golf. But this is a golf course that was also yielding 62 on Sunday to the world's best player. So to shoot something in the high 60s is, maybe not as huge of an accomplishment as it might have been, in some of the majors, obviously, that we've played throughout the summer. There's some numbers here that really bother me for Nick. And, let's remove the Olympics for a second. He's only 10 of his last 15 cuts made on the PGA Tour since his victory at the WM. And his average finish on tour is 36. That's when he makes the cut. So, we need some huge momentum, and it needs to start this week at the Wyndham. He is one of a handful of players that are going directly from Paris to North Carolina for the Wyndham Championship to end the regular season. As far as I'm concerned, his playoff starts this week, Adam. If he wants to play for Mike Weir, the urgency for Nick Taylor starts this week in North Carolina.
Yeah, Mark, we're seeing a lot of other players take this week off, but Taylor's had success at the Wyndham in the past. How important is it in your mind that he, starts off on the right foot this week, to your point, to try to make Mike Weir's team?
100%. And because he's at a place where he's got good feels, historically likes the golf course, he cannot wait till Friday afternoon to get going in this one. The urgency, the importance has to start Thursday morning. Now, you can't press it. You can't win a golf tournament on a Thursday morning. We get that. That usually backfires. But you need to come out with a solid plan and start keeping it simple Thursday morning. Fairways, greens, keep it simple. Put something under par on the board on a Thursday and get some momentum, and let's have a good 4 days here in North Carolina. I think it starts right now, Adam. No waiting. Better position. The better positioned you are starting in Memphis, the easier it is to get to Colorado.
Well, right now, Nick Taylor's currently 50th in the FedEx Cup standings.